Welcome to Teleco Tech Tip Tuesday. I'm Penny Balluz, Director of Operations.
And I'm Jeff Holtby. I'm an IT technician here at Teleco.
So for our first session for Tech Tip Tuesdays, we're going to be talking about our uCloud software, which is our hosted cloud phone system, and how to make changes for the holidays, how to re-record your auto attendant, and also how to put yourself in close mode as we're closing early for the holidays.
Yep, we're going to show you a couple of different ways you can get yourself set up for the holidays.
Wonderful. So to start, Jeff, let's show everybody how to first log into the platform.
We're going to start right from the beginning here, logging into the uCloud portal. Whoever is your phone administrator on site should have been set up with a password and login for this. If they're not, just contact us and we can get you all set up with this.
And we'll put our contact details at the end of this tech tip so that you can reach out to us and we can securely send that information to you.
Yep. So whoever is the admin is going to just go to the ClearClouds page, which is at clearclouds.teleco.ca. You'll get this login screen here. You put in your login address, which should be your email, and your password. Click Login. And you'll see this administrator portal right here. So there's a couple things we're going to look at here. First thing to do is to check out how your call flow is set up normally. So if we go to the Inventory tab here, this will give us a list of numbers in our organization. We've got a bunch here. I've got one set up as a demo line here. So this one here, let's pretend this is our main number for the site. So this number here is pointed at a user called root main. So if we go to users, in the users tab here, we're going to find that root main user. That is what we tend to call a dummy user. It's not actually associated with a phone or any actual person. That's just a phone extension that's in the program here that we use for routing calls. So if we click on that user and go to the answering rules tab on that user, this is where we see where our calls actually go when they come into the phone system. So someone calls our main number, it gets sent to this user, and the answering rules on this user control where that call gets sent. So during our open hours, as you can see here, which it currently is, it's going to go to our service queue. If it's not our open hours, then it's going to hit that default rule at the bottom, and it's going to go to our nighttime auto attendant. So if we want to change things up for the holidays, there's a few ways we can do that. One would be to just change the recording on our auto attendants to it indicates that we're closed for the holidays. So let's look at our auto attendants here. And if we look at our, this is one I've set up for the demo here. So let's pretend this is our main night auto attendant. So this is what callers are getting at night. So it's the menu where they can press 1 for this, press 2 for that. And we have a greeting that plays when they're connected to it. So let's say that we want to change this greeting just over the course of the holidays and then change it back to normal once the holidays are over. So we can click this download button here, and that will let us actually save our existing greeting. We can put it wherever we want on the computer, save it so we have it for later. When we're in January, when the holidays are over, we can go and re-upload that. So to change the greeting, if you hover over this little pencil icon, that will give you the Manage Audio. If we click on that, this gives us a page here where we can change that greeting on the auto attendant. There's two ways we can do that. We can upload an audio file, or we can record a new one. If I click Upload, that'll give me a browse thing here. And that'll let me choose any WAV file on my computer that I can upload as the message. So this is what you would do in January when you want to go back to the old one. We would choose Upload, click Browse, and we would find that audio file that we previously saved and just upload it as the greeting. So if we want to record a new one though, we can choose Record here. We can put in the name, so I can change this to say Holiday Greeting. And this Call Me At field, whatever phone number we put in here, when we click Call, the system is going to call us on that phone number and prompt us to record the greeting. So I'm going to put in Penny's extension here and hit Call. And she just has to pick up, and it'll say Start Speaking after the tone.
Season's greetings. Thank you for calling Teleco. Please note we will be closed for the Christmas holiday, returning to regular hours of operation on Tuesday, January 4th. Please leave a message after the tone and we'll return your call as soon as we return. Season's greetings and Happy New Year. Bye for now.
Here we go. You see the time on it has changed. And I can actually hit play right here and play that greeting back and make sure I like it. And if we don't, we can go and record it again. One thing we might want to do as well is change the options that callers have when they reach the auto attendant during the holidays. So maybe we don't want them to, if you're going to be away all week, you don't want people to leave a voicemail. You might say in the message, we're not going to be returning voicemails until we return in January. And we could remove the voicemail option here. On this auto attendant interface here, we can click on any of these options. We've got 1 through 9, 0, and star. And that'll let us choose what callers are able to do when they press that option. So say we did want it to give them the option to press 0 and go to a voicemail. We can click 0, choose voicemail, and just put in the extension number of the voicemail we want them to go to. The downside of doing it this way is we've changed up our existing menu, and we might want to just go back to how it was after the holidays. And that means going back and changing everything back again. One way to get around that is we can just create a new menu for the holidays alongside that existing night menu. That way the old one is still there. And when the holidays are done, we can just go back to that existing one. I'm going to go through the steps of setting up a new menu from scratch and setting up a time frame to control when that new menu comes into effect. So first thing we want to do is define a time frame for when we're going to be closed. That is done through the Timeframes tab here. So if we click Timeframes, you can see there's a couple in here. I'm going to click Add Time Frame. I can put in the name. I'm just going to call this Demo Holiday. And we're going to choose specific dates or ranges. And what this is going to do is going to give us a calendar interface here where we can choose when this starts. So say we're going to be closed just that Friday the 24th, and then we're closed the Monday and Tuesday after that. So I can start 12 a.m. on the 24th, and then I'm going to go to 11:59 p.m. on the 28th. So we've defined that date range. So any time between this start time and this end time is going to fall within this demo holiday time frame. Second thing to do is we want to create a new holiday auto attendant. So we're going to go to auto attendants here. We're going to click add it. Actually, first thing we want to do before we click add attendant is we want to choose an extension number we're going to make it. So generally we want to put it in the same range as these other ones. It just has to be a number we haven't chosen yet. So I've got ones going up to 8005 here. I'm going to make this new one 8006. So I'm going to click Add Attendant. I'm going to call this Demo Holiday AA for Auto Attendant and make it 8006. For the time frame selection here, you do want to choose all the time. We're going to be actually using the time frame rules in a different place than this. Whenever you're creating an auto attendant normally, we're just going to choose all the time there. Click Add. And we've got our new auto attendant here. So right now it's pretty blank. There's nothing actually on it. No options defined. So we have to choose what do we want callers to be able to do. So if we click this gear icon here, we can enable or disable dial by extension. So if we have dial by extension enabled, what that means is if a caller calls in and reaches this menu, if they know the extension of the person they're trying to reach, they can just dial it and be connected to that person's phone, and it'll go to that person's voicemail if they don't pick up. So you probably do want dial by extension enabled if you want callers to be able to dial people's extensions and leave them voicemail during the holidays. We have options here as well for what happens if no key is pressed or an unassigned key. By default, it'll just repeat the greeting. So, next thing is to define our other options here. So say we do want people to be able to press 0 and leave a voicemail. We can click on the 0 here. We can choose voicemail, and we just have to put in the extension that we want them to leave the voicemail on. And we click Save there. The next thing to do is to record that greeting. This works exactly the same as when we re-recorded the greeting before. We click that Manage Audio button. We choose Record. We put in the extension number, hit Call, and it will call them on that extension, and you can record it from there. So we've done two things now. We have created a time frame that defines when we're closed, and we've created a new auto tenant. And what we want is for callers during that time frame to get sent to that new auto tenant. So same thing as before. Let's look at where our main number goes. It's going through that root main user, and that's what controls where calls go when. So if we go to that root main user and we go to its answering rules, right now we've got two answering rules in here. So during our open hours, it's going to go to our service queue. After hours, it's going to go to that menu. So what we're going to do is add another rule, and it's going to be a rule for that holiday time frame that we just defined. And what we're going to say is anytime, so always during that time frame, we're going to send callers to that holiday auto tenant. So just type in the extension there and make sure you choose the auto tenant version that comes up there. And hit Save. And that new rule is right here. And I'm going to just bump it up right to the top to make sure that it checks that rule first. So what we have set up now is there's a new, when a call comes in, it's going to check, is it during that new time frame we defined? If it is, it's going to go to that new menu. If it's not, it's going to check if you're open and go where it would if you're open. Or by default, then it's going to go to the normal closed menu. An advantage of setting it up this way is this is now going to come on automatically on that first day we defined, and it's going to stop coming on at the end of that time period we've defined. So now that we've set that up, it's all ready to go ahead of time. And when we go on holidays, the phone is going to switch over into holiday mode, and when we come back, it's going to switch into regular mode again. When you're done with it, this is still going to be in the system, so you can then safely delete it since you don't need it anymore. One thing you can do, though, is just leave that in there, and the next time you are closed for holidays or for any other occasion, you can reuse that same menu we've already set up. So one thing we have set up on a lot of systems is we give them a generic extra time frame called like special closed or something, and have an auto tenant called special close. And that way, whenever you're closed outside of your regular closed hours, you can just edit that time frame to have the days when you're closed, and then edit that menu or edit the recording on that menu to be updated for whatever that occasion is. And you can reuse that as many times as you want.
Thanks, Jeff. That's wonderful. So a good rule of thumb is anytime you make changes on the phone system is to always test it. So
Yep.
What would you recommend in terms of after someone has gone in and made some programming changes, what can they do to test it just to make sure it will work properly when they go home for the holidays?
Yeah, it's always a good idea to test things ahead of time. So what we can do is if we go to our time profile here, the one we've set up ahead of time, and let's just add today to that profile. So if I go today when we're recording this, all day, save, and then if I quickly go into our root here, we can see that that holiday profile is active right now. So if I call our number right now, we can test and make sure it works. And then I can go back into that time frame and remove today again. Now hopefully you're not so busy that you have calls in constantly and you're getting your auto tenant right now while you're testing it. But that is a way, you see I put today in the time profile. You know, we can take a minute or two to just call our number, make sure it's going to the menu, make sure the menu works, and then we can remove today from that time profile again. You can always check where your calls are going to be going. If you go to your main routing user and just look at the answering rules tab of it. It will actually show you which of your time profiles you have active at the moment, so you can see where calls are going. So right now, because I've taken today out of a demo holiday time profile, it's no longer hitting that first one, and it's hitting our regular open hours here.
Perfect. That's wonderful. Maybe one last thing for people who aren't going to be in the office over the holidays, but still kind of want to stay on top of things and check things. Can you just quickly show how voicemail to email can be turned on? So if calls are being left in the general mailbox, that they can be emailed to somebody so that they can at least listen to them. And if it's important, then they can respond even though it's during the holidays.
Yeah, so voicemail to email is a nice little feature, and I think we actually have it enabled by default on most of our uCloud systems right now. But if you're not familiar, voicemail to email can be activated through your own user portal. So any user can do this by themselves. When they're logged into the portal, they will see this more limited version of the portal that doesn't have all the administrative control. If they go to their messages tab here, and then to settings, and if they scroll down, right at the bottom here under unified messaging, there's an email notification option. And that will let you actually have the system send you your voicemails as a WAV file attachment on an email automatically as soon as you get them. So if it's set as none, then you're not using that feature. You just got to check your voicemails on your physical phone. But if we set it to send with attachment, what that is going to do is as soon as you get a voicemail from anyone, the system will automatically send you an email to your email address, and it will have the actual voicemail attached to it, and the email itself will tell you like what number the message came from. There's a couple options here: leave as new, move to save, move to trash. Those control what the system does with the voicemail once they've sent you the email. So our default is leave as new. That means your voicemail is still there on your desk phone or through the portal if you want to check it that way. But you, in addition to that, get the email. If you want to just deal with your voicemail purely through the emails, you never want to have to clear voicemails from your phone or anything, you can use that send with attachment, move to trash option. So what that will do is as soon as you get a voicemail, it'll email it to you, and then it'll trash it in the actual voicemail system. You could also move it to saved if you want to keep all of your voicemails. The send with brief attachment option, that sends an abbreviated version of the message. We find that one isn't very useful these days. No one is that worried about their email inbox size. And if you're going to send the message at all, you might as well send the whole thing. There is a send with hyperlink option. What that will do is it'll basically just send you a link that you can click to log into your portal here and check your voicemail there. If you use that option though, you don't have an archive of the voicemail in your email. One advantage of the voicemail to email is if you're archiving your email, not deleting everything, you have a saved copy of that voicemail in your email. So even if it's deleted from the phone system, you still have it in your email and you can look it up later. But if you do use the hyperlink option, you don't have that. So just be aware of that.
Okay, great. Well, it definitely gives you some options to manage voicemails that are being left for you during the holidays, which is wonderful. So thanks very much, Jeff. That was really great. We hope that you enjoyed this Tech Tip Tuesday tip on how to program your uCloud hosted phone system and get ready for the holidays. And thanks very much.
Yep. And if you guys have any questions about this, feel free to reach out to us on our service line, 807-346-7292. Or you can always email service@teleco.ca with any questions you have about your phone system.
Yeah, and we'll post all that information at the end of this tech tip as well. So thanks for joining.
And happy holidays.